Question 1. Why does Montresor, the narrator, want revenge? He thinks Fortunato has stolen his wine. He feels that Fortunato has insulted him. He knows that Fortunato is a fool because of his costume. Question 2. How does Montresor trick Fortunato into joining him in his catacombs? He took advantage of his insecurities by insulting him and making him doubt his self-worth. He lies about the content of his wine and tricks him into drinking poison. He took advantage of his pride and vanity, pretending to need his expertise. Question 3. Is Montresor a reliable or unreliable narrator? Is the reader to believe, as Montresor does, that his revenge is justified? He is an unreliable narrator because he drinks wine and finds joy in the suffering of others. He is an unreliable narrator because readers cannot determine whether or not his revenge is justified. He is a reliable narrator because readers can easily tell that his revenge is justified. Question 4. Montresor does many things to ensure the success of his plan. Below, select all the things Montresor did to secure his triumph. He gives Fortunato plenty of wine to drink. He pretends to be Fortunato's friend. He carries out his plan during Carnival when there are no servants at his home. Or he kills everybody in his house so there are no witnesses. Question 5. Which word best described Montresor? Innocent, forgiving, scheming. Question 6. Which word best describes Fortunato? Gullible, innocent, cowardly. Question 7. What is Fortunato's biggest character flaw? His obsession with revenge, his love of wine, or his spiteful attitude? Question 8. Read the incomplete summary of the passage. Number 1. Montresor vows to get revenge upon Fortunato. 2. Montresor meets up with Fortunato during Carnival. 3. Montresor and Fortunato travel through Montresor's vaults looking for the Amantillado. 4. Montresor takes Fortunato to the niche in the vault. Choices. Montresor imprisons Fortunato and leaves him for 50 years. Montresor builds a wall around Fortunato and kills him. Fortunato gets drunk off Amantillado while Montresor gets his revenge. Which of the following quotes best shows the mood of the story? The gait of my friend was unsteady. The bells upon his cap jingled as he strode. The nitre, I said. See, it increases. It hangs like moss upon the vaults. We are below the river's bed. The drops of moisture trickle among the bones. Come, we will go back ere it is too late. Your cough. My dear Fortunato, you are luckily met. How remarkably well you are looking today. But I have received a pipe of what passes for Amantillado, and I have my doubts. Question 10. Which sentence from a Cask of Amantillado best represents the climax of the story? A wine sparkled in his eyes and the bells jingled. My own fancy grew warm with the emetic. We had passed through the walls of piled bones with casks and puncheons intermingling. In the inmost recesses of the catacombs I paused again, and this time made bold to seize Fortunato by an arm above the elbow. As I said these things, I busied myself among the pile of bones, of which I have before spoken, throwing them aside. I soon uncovered a quantity of building stone and mortar. With these materials and the aid of my trowel, I began to vigorously wall up the entrance of the niche. There were no attendants at home. They had absconded to make merry in honor of the time. I had told them that I should not wait until morning. I shall not return until morning, and had given them explicit orders not to stir from the house. These orders were sufficient, I well knew, to ensure their immediate disappearance, one and all, as soon as my back was turned. Question 11. Which quote from a Cask of Amantillado best represents the conflict of the story? I forget your arms, a huge human foot adore in a field azure. The foot crushes a serpent rampant whose fangs are embedded in the heel. The 1,000 injuries of Fortunato I had bore as best I could, but when he ventured upon insult, I vowed revenge. There were no attendants at home. They had absconded to make merry in honor of time. Question 12. Which of the following quotes from a Cask of Amantillado is the best example of verbal irony? 1,000 injuries of Fortunato I had borne as best I could, but when he ventured upon insult, I vowed revenge. We came at length to the foot of the descent, and stood together on the damp ground of the catacombs of the Montresors. We will go back. Your health is precious. You are rich, respected, admired, beloved. You are happy, as I once was. You are a man to be missed. Question 13. Montresor stops working when Fortunato begins rattling his chains because Montresor, words that someone will hear, wants to save Fortunato's torture, is exhausted. Question 14. Which of the following quotes is the best example of foreshadowing? It is further on, said I, but observe the white web work which gleams in these cavern walls. I was silly enough to pay the full Amantillado price without consulting you in the matter. Enough. The cough is a mere nothing. It will not kill me. I shall not die of a cough. Like Fortunato, the man below is blank to something he doesn't like. Precluded, fettered, or destinated. Question 16. If Fortunato had been under the influence of alcohol, he might have wondered why Montresor carried a trowel, offered him wine, or was wearing a costume. Question 17. Why does Montresor tell his servants that, even though he will not return until morning, they are not to leave the house? He fears for their safety at Carnival. He knows this will make them leave. He thinks he may need their help. Which of the following pictures best represents the setting of a Cask of Amontillado? Question 19. Who is the narrator of a Cask of Amontillado? Montresor, Edgar Allan Poe, or Amantillado? Question 20. The man in the picture below is wearing an outfit similar to Fortunato's. This is best known as Amantillado, conical cap, motley. Question 20. What is ironic about Fortunato? He is wearing a jester's costume, but he proves that he is not a fool. He thinks he knows a lot about wine, but can't identify Amantillado. His name means fortunate, but he is very unfortunate. Question 22. Hyperbole is the use of exaggeration to make a point. Look at your first paragraph. What phrase used by the narrator is an example of hyperbole? A wrong unredressed when retribution overtakes its redresser. You, who so well know the nature of my soul, will not suppose, however, that gave utterance to a threat. The 1,000 injuries of Fortunato I borne as best I could, but when he ventured upon insult I vowed revenge. Question 23. Fortunato, who has been out drinking and enjoying Carnival, is wearing a clown's hat. Symbolically, why is this an interesting and appropriate costume choice by the writer Edgar Allan Poe? He is dressed like a jester, and he jests and jokes. He is dressed like a comedian, and is proven to be sensitive and fearful. He is dressed like a fool, and he gets fooled and tricked. Question 14. Which vocabulary word best completes the following sentence? In literature, an author's theme is not blank. Readers have to figure it out on their own. Explicit, obstinate, or endeavor. Question 25. Which of the following images best shows how Fortunato recoiled?